In life, I consider myself fortunate because I very rarely experience hunger. Growing up, there was typically food in the house, but there wasn't always someone willing to cook each day. So from a young age, I learned to cook very basic meals and eventually learned to make some things from scratch. Unfortunately, as an adult, I find myself going through the drive-through, ordering takeout, and going to restaurants more often than I probably should, mainly just for the convenience of not having to cook. But it is as convenient and worth it as we think. Today, I'm going to discuss with you why I think you should cook from home and how it affects your finances, your time management, and just your overall enjoyment of the food that you eat. First, we're going to talk about costs. Typically, going to the grocery store and buying foods in bulk is less expensive than buying food, like ordering at a restaurant. Dumb example would be if you order a baked potato from a restaurant and then ordered a sack of potatoes or bought a sack of potatoes at the grocery store, you're going to notice a big difference. So, with that in mind, keep that in mind, we're going to talk about what a food staple is. National Geographic defines a food staple as a part of the dominant diet in the population. Basically, this means something that you eat on the regular. So, if you eat potatoes on the regular, that is a food staple. A non staple is obviously the opposite of that, something you're not going to eat commonly. Let's say every once in a while you buy fish, something just to vary up your diet, stuff of that nature. So you're going to buy, when you go to the grocery store, you're mainly going to want to be focused on your staple items and then your non-staple items for maybe a special occasion. This actually keeps costs down because if you buy things on a regular that you use normally, you're going to find that you spend a lot less when you do food prep. Now, the other factor in cost for some of my younger people in here that haven't lived by themselves for a while, you're going to need some cookware. That may include pots and pans, utensils, and maybe some other cooking gadgets that you find you'll need. Like, let's say you end up using a lot of vegetables and you want to use a food processor instead. These things factor in the cost, but if you maintain them and keep them in good working order, they pay for themselves and they don't overall affect the cost of food. So that was costs. So now we're going to talk about time. Personally, I'm going to use McDonald's as an example because why not? I have one like 4 minutes away from me. But imagine you go through a drive-through. Inside InTouch did a study last year where they found that it takes about 6 minutes to get through McDonald's drive-through. That's one car. Now imagine if you have multiple cars in front of you. It could easily turn into a half hour between my little 4 minute drive to McDonald's, 4 minute drive back, and my wait in the line. There's a lot of instances where I could cook a meal on that if I'm fully prepared and prepped. So that's one example. Another example might be delivery. How often have you ordered from a delivery place, whether it's pizza or otherwise, and it took about an hour for them to, after they took your order, it took about an hour for them to prepare your meal and get it to you. You probably could have cooked something more substantial in that time. All right. So the other part of the factor is what I was just explaining was food prep. If you have things ready to go, if you prep your food like at the beginning of the week, like meal prep for the week, you can have things ready to go to be cooked in short order so that a meal might only actually take you 30 minutes to cook before, everybody wants to eat. Another thing that we want to talk about is actually the quality of your food and flavor and how you enjoy your food. If you're cooking your own food, you're more likely not to cook something that you're not going to like. Now, you can experiment with different flavors and figure out what you like, but typically, if you see a recipe for something and there's something that you don't like and it can be omitted without totally ruining the dish, you can omit it. So you're guaranteed the quality of your food because you cooked it, you know what you like, you know what you want to put in things, and how it's going to taste, how done you want certain things. If you want your steak well done, I might judge you for it, but you wanted it well done, so go. We're at your house, so I'm not really gonna probably say anything. But anyways, so you can see how you can enjoy cooking from home because it actually costs you less. It might take you less to prepare your meals and cook, but also you can guarantee the quality of the food that you produce, and you actually take more pride in the food that you reduce or produce. So thank you for your time.